All right, getting into our best and worst of the month. Kick us off. Best movie you saw
Is
in
it even a
March.
question?
Yeah, I think we have the same one.
Is it even a question? Do we say it on the count of three?
1, 2, 3.
Project Hail Mary. Duh.
There was nothing that compared to this movie. A movie that I gave a 5 out of 5, which I haven't done in 2.5 years.
There's nothing that's compared to this movie in the past few years. Like, phenomenal.
And one that I feel holds up to the hype, where I didn't see a whole lot of people who went to go see it. It was so weird that we saw it so early too, because when I saw like people flowing in like on actual release week, I was like, man, you guys are late.
I know. And then people, like, we didn't see it because we're like fancy. They just had it. I got an email from Regal and it was like, want to see it early in IMAX
Yeah.
and bought the tickets.
It wasn't because of this podcast or anything.
No, we wish.
I think it's one of those movies that unless you just hate movies or want to hate it for the reason of being so contrary to everybody else loving it, the only thing I really saw were people not happy with some of the things they left out of the book.
And again, anytime you do an adaptation of something, there's going to be creative liberties taken to make the story flow better.
Some people were just saying that it was a little bit dumbed down. And I'm like, you can't keep in all of the little details that heighten the book and still make an entertaining movie. You got to water it down a little bit. Like some of the stuff inside of his head, some of the severity of some injuries, the overall. I feel like maybe the action wasn't as intense as it was in the book, but I think it ended up working really well.
But I also think that makes it a little more family friendly. You can enjoy
Exactly.
it with everyone. And like, I think the timing of that coming out and then this week NASA doing the Artemis 2 launch around the moon, like you're going to get kids that are really interested in space and like how cool is that? And here's a movie that there's nothing gratuitous about it. There's nothing too graphic really. They did tame down some of the injuries. Like I think you can explain to kids about space and I think it's a great movie that people of all ages can enjoy together.
Which I think is what Ryan Gosling has said that he is kind of seeking out right now, is doing family-friendly movies because he has kids.
Yeah, he has 2 kids.
And he wants to be able to make things that they can enjoy. And I'm good with that. Sometimes when I'm like, oh, we're not going to get an R-rated Ryan Gosling movie anymore. But with the movies he's put out recently, I am okay with that. I think I like father figure Ryan Gosling even more than him in the 2010s.
Now I'm just imagining a montage of Ryan Gosling set to Father Figure by Taylor Swift. I don't think that's what you meant. I would also like to say, I think that a movie like this like really brings people together. There was a comment that you got when you posted our review, and I apologize that I don't remember the person's Instagram handle, but they said they were going to see it with their family and that their father-in-law had recently passed away, but that they and their father-in-law had really enjoyed the book together. And I just think there's something so special about things like that people have a common interest or a shared interest. Like my book club was really excited about this movie. We read and talked about it. And I think that's the cool thing about art and media and like big releases like this, is that it's something for people to do together and you can talk about it, and people that read the book, and like then you can compare, and like how cool to then be able to be like, oh, they didn't do it this way, but like take such an interest in something that you want to have these in-depth conversations. So I thought that was really cool. And I hope that listener, if you're listening to this, enjoyed the film.
I had to put that as my best of the month, but I will offer a second pick as my second best of the month because I didn't even get to fully talk about it on the podcast, but Hoppers.
So good.
Hoppers made me feel like a kid again in the best way, where
Lizard, potato.
Where I think I was the one laughing the most in our theater, more so than the kids. And there were some really great moments that really stood out where
we went to see this movie after doing our taxes.
We had quite a tax day where we sat down like the adults that we are.
But we made a plan.
Yes.
We said, because last year.
Hate doing our tax. Everybody hates doing our taxes. Which if you haven't done them by now, you're cutting it close.
You're cutting it close. Get them done. Last year we did them. We like didn't have anything else planned. And it was one of those where after you do your taxes and then you're like, I never want to spend money again. But this year we were just kind of like, let's do our taxes. Let's go out to eat at our favorite place, Avo. Let's see Hoppers. Like, let's have something fun planned so that after we do the taxes, they don't take that long. It's just the act of doing them. And then just like, I don't know, seeing all your money go away and just being like, that was depressing. So we
The
saw Hoppers after. 10 out of 10 recommend doing that.
It's like as an adult, you don't get spring break anymore. You just get tax time.
Yeah, you get tax season.
But I was excited for this one. I feel like Pixar is back. The animals were so cute in this
They were
movie
so cute.
where they had this animation that it made them feel like I just wanted to reach into the screen and like touch them because they look so soft and cuddly.
They did look soft
And
and
I
cuddly.
loved how they made the difference between when the animals would talk to each other and they could understand each other, that they had like the normal Pixar cartoonish eyes. And then whenever the humans saw them, they went to like the little black eyes like a Funko Pop would have.
Yes.
And I just thought that contrast was so funny.
I don't even know that I noticed that.
That was
I probably did, but I don't know that I clocked it.
because whenever there's scenes with like they're
Yes.
speaking and they're like trying to communicate with the humans, and then they cut back, they had little black eyes, and then the human is freaking out because you have this beaver just like mumbling at them and they don't understand anything.
Yes.
I thought that was hilarious. And there were other moments that I was not expecting in a family friendly film. And not that it like teetered on like innuendo or anything that was a little bit more adult, but even at the very beginning of the movie, they address the circle of life and nature of like, if you're hungry, you got to eat.
Oh,
And
yeah.
certain animals die, which you don't really get that in Pixar or Disney movies, where the
Mm.
animals don't really do animal things like eat other animals or die, unless it's
Circle
like
of
the Lion
life.
King or something. But they were very upfront about death and the way that
Like, do what you got to do to survive.
you do what you got to do. And I just thought that was kind of refreshing that you have this movie about animals acting like animals, not really like these mythical fairy creatures. I felt like that was probably great for kids who are maybe used to seeing like just dumb animal movies. I felt like this was a little bit more sophisticated.
Mm.
And me, I was loving it. I was laughing the entire time. I thought the movie also had a lot of emotion within the first 10 to 15 minutes of this. I felt more than I do in like some dramas that are like 2 hours long and Oscar worthy. And I think that is what I was missing from a good Pixar movie. It reminded me of Up, that opening scene in Up that wrecks you emotionally from the very beginning of that movie.
God, I love that movie.
We kind of got that feeling again of creating this character, giving you their backstory, which she is so like in love with animals, tries to take them from her school and rescue them. And you get to know about her as a person. And it builds out so much of that story in that opening scene that you feel like you know her through the rest of the movie. And then you're completely invested in the story. All right, our worst of the month. What do you got?
Oh, I'm going to talk about the movie that traumatized us.
Oh, more trauma.
Oh, I feel stressed. Okay. So we saw it advertised in theaters last year. I saw like one trailer. It's called The Anniversary.
Anniversary.
Anniversary. It has Diane Lane, Kyle Chandler, Phoebe Denver. I don't know how to say her last name. Oh my gosh.
Dylan O'Brien.
Thank you. McKenna Grace,
She's in everything.
Zoe Deutsch.
Love
Okay.
her.
So it's about this family, and we knew that like Dylan O'Brien's new girlfriend like causes drama in the family. That's the premise kind of told. We don't know how though. But it is just like the most traumatizing thing because it's so dark in a way that's like that doesn't feel that far off from what could happen in society.
With drones and just how much we are being spied on all the time.
Yes, and just like the influence and like how it spread really freaked me out. It was dark. It was really dark.
I feel like this movie didn't do well because it's incredibly hard to market.
Oh, they even said they were like it's very like incendiary because it's political dystopian.
There's no real redeeming quality of the story, I will say, without spoiling anything else.
It was like it wasn't a Sunday night movie.
No, which
We didn't know because the description's very vague.
And the movie title is also kind of vague. Anniversary. You're like, is this going to be about two people celebrating a certain amount of years of marriage? But I think it's one that you finish and your jaw is kind of just open. And the only thing I took away from it was feeling bummed out. Where I went to sleep that night, I had a nightmare, and then I woke up the next day still thinking about the story and just had this funk over my head.
You were a real bummer Monday, Tuesday.
Monday, it took me 2 days to get out of the funk where I was just reminiscing on the story and overall all these characters, which it is just a bunch of people arguing basically the entire movie. Moments that get really tense and characters that have no redeeming qualities. Nobody in the movie. Everybody is awful to each other. It made me not want to be rich, which I think we've been watching some things recently that I realize that just because you have money doesn't mean you don't have problems. And I almost don't like rich people problems more than I like normal people problems because rich people are vicious. There
Yeah.
is some kind of thing that comes out of like a not even rich, but like people who are wealthy, who have
Yeah.
been wealthy for a long time. There are these cutting conversations they have in this movie that I feel like that's something I probably won't experience because I won't ever deal with these type of people. But it was hard to find any redeeming quality out of any character, out of any plot point, and it just made you feel bummed out. So I can't imagine if we went to go see this movie in theaters,
I'd have left.
how much it would have wrecked us even more.
It was dark dystopian in a way that like the Hunger Games isn't dystopian because you're a little like, that's never going to happen.
Yeah, because it's
But this was dark dystopian in a like, I could imagine this happening in a very dark reality in the future far off. Like maybe I'm not alive for that, but I could see it happening.
yeah. So that is one we do not recommend.
I don't recommend. Again, loved the cast.
Although
incredible cast.
It's one that affected me emotionally so much that it made me not like the movie, even though the movie itself I don't feel is bad. Like it's not a poorly directed movie. The cast isn't bad. There's nothing about the actual performance or quality of the movie that is bad.
It's the underlying message and what it makes you feel about society.
It's the content of it. So we wouldn't really recommend it because of how it's going to make you feel, but not that it's a bad movie. So it is interesting to have it as your worst. Not so much that because it was like, oh, that was terrible. Kyle Chandler was awful. He can't act anymore.
No, they were all phenomenal.
It's just so intense that you have to be in a place to watch it mentally, which I don't know what place you have to be in to reach it.
I don't know.
Be so objective. And I think with everything going on in the world now, where I think we'll talk about more when we talk about our TV shows, that I'm actively seeking out movies and TV shows that aren't as dark, which is why I was so excited for the Super Mario Brothers movie this weekend.
Yeah.
Because I just can't deal with everything being so.
Why do you think I love reality TV?
Yeah.
Although Bravo lovers, I could do a whole separate podcast on that. Dark week for the Bravo sphere.
Yeah. So that is a strong worst for you.
Yeah.
For me, my worst was Scream 7. And I always like convince myself that I'm more excited for a legacy horror movie like this when I go see it in theaters because I always go see these usually by myself because
Yeah, I
you
don't do
want
this.
you don't want to see these. So I find it's kind of like a little comfort thing. If I go, I take my coffee, which we're drinking our high brews right now, not a sponsor, but
Hit us up if you want to be.
I go, I have my high brew, I have my snack, and I sit right. I like to sit a little bit closer when you don't go and in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just like my little comfort spot, watching a horror movie.
I'm an end cap girl because I probably have to go pee at some
Yeah,
point. And I don't want to walk over people.
Yeah, I like it a lot better when we're together, but if it's just me, I don't mind it. And then
You want other people, like strangers around you, snuggling you a
no,
little bit?
normally nobody else is around me because I get that. I like to be close. I don't think the front row of a movie theater is the worst row anymore. I think with the
That's a hot take.
yeah, the front row of the movie theater is actually a pretty good spot right now with if you are in a theater that has recliners though.
No, you made us Star Wars years ago. That was not a comfortable viewing experience.
I love being engulfed in the screen. And if you sit in that front row and lean it all the way back.
Second row, maybe. Front row now.
Front row is, I think it's great because you lean all the way back and you look up and you just have screen to the left, you have screen to the right, and it feels like you are in the movie. I think front row is legit.
All right, front row Joe.
Yeah, that was the guy from Cinemark. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love front row Joe.
Oh, well, actually, I knew it was from something, and I was hoping you would know because I was like, this is a reference in the back of my brain.
I don't think they use front row Joe anymore, but we don't have Cinemarks here. I used to love Cinemark.
We love going to Cinemark when we go home to Texas.
Cinemark is good, but I did not enjoy Scream 7 whatsoever. I think if it
Whatsoever. That's a strong adjective.
I think if it weren't for the fact of me having this podcast, I would probably dip out of the Scream franchise at this point. But it's kind of one of those things like some people have vicious exes that they just keep going back to. That is Scream for me. I'm just like, they burned me on that last one, but I'm going to go back. I'm going to go be hurt again. But I gave that one a 2 out of 5, my lowest of the month. Going back now through all the movies we saw in March, I started it off trying to catch up on some Oscar movies, and I watched It Was Just an Accident. It is about a guy who runs into his former torturer. Really intense. And it's him and these group of people who were all tortured by the same person. If you are open to watching international films where you don't understand the language, I really think if you went into It Was Just an Accident with an open mind, you would enjoy it. I think it's just a completely different style of filmmaking in a story that feels a little bit unconventional, but it works so well. And I like watching movies not with the dub. Like, I'll just take the subtitles. I feel like I could learn a language like that.
Oh yeah,
Like, that is my goal.
I don't want a dubbed over movie. I want
feel-
subtitles.
Yeah, it feels so weird. It doesn't match, and then it just you lose a lot in translation. Especially
Literally.
when I know when I watch like movies, sometimes I'll just kind of see like if a movie's in Spanish, how they translate it. I'm like, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Like I understand it. It's not the same. I also went to go see The Bride, which
Mhm.
I thought was gonna be good.
Yeah, you were excited for
Jesse
that one.
Buckley, Christian Bale, that one kind of let me down. So we started out March kind of on a low note, but then we saw Hoppers, it got good. Project Hail Mary got good. I saw a horror movie called Undertone, which was about this podcaster who gets a bunch of mysterious files sent to her show, and then they listen to them and uncover like this crazy mystery just by listening to random voice memos. And it was a movie that wasn't that great visually. It was a movie made more for your ears, which was weird in the very beginning.
I remember seeing the trailer for this now.
Yeah, it's a girl basically just doing like we are now,
Yep,
sitting
I
at a
remember now.
desk at night, and they're listening to all these crazy files, and then a bunch of crazy things start actually happening to her. She has a sick mom, which there's always a sick parent in a horror movie. And by the end of it, I was truly scared. I rarely get scared during horror movies, but I think it was the fact that they utilized the sound so well that there was a moment that I felt like there was something in the theater with me.
Stop.
Because it was so dark, and the way they would pan voices and sounds from the left to the right, and it got so loud that it was genuinely freaky.
I don't like this. I'm getting.
So I'm curious how that would translate at home, though, because it's not in theaters anymore. Unless
Well,
you
I'm
can-
not watching it,
you
so
can
don't
find a
test it out
theater.
on me.
But I imagine if you watched it at home and put on headphones, I feel like that would be terrifying. Watch it at
Stop.
night all alone. So if you missed that one in theaters, I do recommend it. It is kind of low, but it's an A24 movie. But like I said, don't watch it expecting to see the best thing. But if you let your mind go to the places that they are like playing throughout,
No.
I think it's interesting. Like they could
Okay,
just
on to something else.
they could just put that movie out as an audio file because there are like horror podcasts.
Okay,
That it would be terrifying in itself. All right.
really freaking me out.
I watched also in Oscar prep The Secret Agent. I couldn't get into it. I felt like that was the weakest of all the best picture nominees.
I wanted to see it, and then I saw that it was like 2:45 runtime, and I was like, I'm out.
It was very long. The first, I would say 45 minutes were great that I was all in. And then it got into a lot of politics in Brazil and a lot of like deep dive.
Which is really interesting.
It was interesting.
We saw a movie. Oh, what was the movie in 2024 that ended up winning foreign film Oscars 2025? Or Fernanda won.
I'm not there.
I'm Still Here.
I'm Still Here.
Yes, that was phenomenal. That's also about Brazil.
That was great. This one wasn't as action packed as that movie. Didn't really have like the family connection that I felt in that. It was, I would say the coolest thing about it is that it takes place in the 70s and it looked like it was filmed in the 70s, where every single person looked like they belonged in that time period. And I felt like I was transported into Brazil in the 70s. March was a big year for horror. I also watched Ready or Not 2 and another movie called They Will Kill You, which I think was interesting because those movies came out within a week of each other and they are very similar. It almost felt like a twin film situation where you have like Volcano and Dante's Peak, A Bug's Life and Ants.
Oh, what's the Natalie Portman, Ashton Kutcher, Justin Timberlake,
No Strings
Mila
Attached
Kunis.
and Friends with Benefits.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm an encyclopedia of twin films.
Love those movies, but those are very twin film.
So it kind of felt like that, where I liked both of them. I gave them both a 4 out of 5, but they kind of felt like the same movie, and
Mm.
neither of them performed too well at the box office. And then on Hulu, I watched Mike and Nick and Alice, which was the new
You
Vince
watched that without me?
Vaughn, yeah,
Mm,
and James Marsden movie.
okay.
I don't think you would have liked it. It was kind of a generic action movie with a time machine thrown in.
All right.
Or sometimes they're like, what would make this story
Hot
better?
tub time machine.
Yeah, let's just throw in a time machine. But that was the list of all the movies we saw in March. TV shows. What do you want to talk about?
We are years behind on starting this. Shrinking.
Yeah, why did nobody tell us about this show?
I'm kind of glad because now we have a lot to watch. It is bringing me so much joy in my life.
I love it. It is from the creator of Scrubs and a lot of other TV shows.
The writing, phenomenal. It is both emotional and funny, and there's joy, and it's just witty and everything about it.
I think because I knew it was about Jason Segel's wife dying, that I thought it was going to be a sad TV show. And while there are sad moments, there are so many happy moments.
I want the episodes to be longer.
And
It's not long enough.
I kind of love the 30 minutes.
No, but I just mean like we go through them quicker.
Oh, yeah. But we already finished all of season 1.
Exactly. We're going through it too fast.
I think because we watch so many movies, I appreciate a 30-minute show that feels a little bit less intimidating. Because I would be more open to sitting down watching 2 30-minute episodes of Shrinking than watching one 45-minute episode of another show.
I've learned.
And I feel like I think why I love this show so much right now is because I feel like everything we've been watching is so heavy and dark and murder based. And they have like that Netflix formula where that first episode opening scene, dead body. You got to figure out how that body died. And they do all these back steps on like who killed them. And I feel like every show has had that formula because it works. Because you watch that first episode and then you have to figure it out. So you watch the entire series.
Yeah.
It just feels like there have been so many shows like that just this year already that I needed a palate cleanser. And Shrinking is that, where I feel like I could be friends with this entire cast. It makes me a bigger fan of Harrison Ford, which, I mean, I didn't need another reason to be a fan of Harrison Ford, but I love his character so much. He's my favorite character in the show.
I want one of Liz's rocks. I want to be trusted with one of Liz's rocks.
It's those things that this is how you write a TV show where all these characters, you know their personality and you know how they would react in certain situations because they're so well rounded, where they have these quirks that identify them. But I think that is why this show feels so good and a show that I really needed in my life. And also kind of forgot how good Jason Segel is in a role like this. Like it reminded me of like early Freaks and Geeks. Like, man, he's kind of underrated.
Also, we haven't watched it yet, but there's a new season of Love on the Spectrum.
We got that to dive into.
Very excited about that.
And then on Netflix, I finally finished the first season of One Piece because season 2 came out in March. And I was like, I never finished the first season. So I finished that. Season 1 is good. Like I like One Piece, but starting season 2 now, I'm like 3 episodes in. It's so much better. So
Okay,
I'm not
good.
finished with that. But I think it's because the first season was successful that they ramped up the budget. I'd probably give season 1 like a 3.5, but I'm already teetering on the 4 for season 2.
We love a bigger budget.
And then your book.
I'm going to go with, it was actually the second to last book that I finished for the month. It's called So Old, So Young by Grant Gender. And it is about a group of friends from college and their lives over the next 20 years. It's set at about 6 parties over their lives, so like the New Year's Eve party where they all become friends, a wedding, a birthday party, that sort of thing. And it's kind of like a slice of life book, but the writing's really good and the characters are all flawed, but you find yourself like rooting for them, and yeah, I loved it.
The only thing I read this month was I got the Superman Spider-Man comic crossover,
There you go.
and it was good.
You were looking forward to it.
I know.
I was glad you found it.
And that is our best and worst of March. I'll come back. Oh,
I would just like to plug my book Instagram again.
yes.
It is at Kelsey Rod Reads. That's KelseyRodReads. I'm really appreciating everyone following, and I'm enjoying interacting and talking about books with everyone. I've had some great like suggestions from people, and it's just fun to get to chat books. So if you're interested in knowing what I'm reading, what I'm recommending, I also follow a lot of accounts that talk about what movies or what books are being made into movies or TV shows.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then I'll post about like when new books are, like there's a new like American Girl doll book for adults coming out this year. I think the Gossip Girl writer's writing a new one. There's going to be like a new like Nancy Drew as an adult. So I'm trying to like hunt down cool book information and share it with everyone. So if you're interested in that.
We'll also put that in the episode notes. I'll come back and give my spoiler-free review of Super Mario Galaxy.